What's up YouTube? Welcome to Sturdy Code, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my experiences with my first two technical interviews of 2020. Let me know the differences and similarities that you guys have had with your technical interviews in the comments below, and I'm going to give you guys a little lesson that I learned in these past two interviews. So without further ado, let's go on with the video. You heard. Raindrops, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot, fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Okay, so before I talk about any technical interviews I've done so far for 2020, I want to give a quick shout out to Maya Loves Code. If you don't know about her or haven't seen her on YouTube, please go check her out. She does great content around software engineering, so if you haven't done so, please go check her out. So for the first interview, it was for a startup in New York City. It was a blockchain startup, or it is a blockchain startup. I'm not gonna give any names because I don't want to throw any dirt on anybody and talk bad on anybody. Might seem like I'm talking bad about them, but I'm not. Okay, so this first interview for this startup in New York City, it was all right. So when I came in, I've already had a lot of leak code questions in my head. I had a lot of cracking the code interview questions in my head, you know, about strings, arrays, linked list, trees, you name it. I had it all ready, you know, I had it all ready. So then came the questions. It was iterations. What it is that you give it a object, or a object that's able to be traversed, like an array. Of course, you give it an array and it's able to do these operations, as in has next or next. That I didn't know. Not one thing. I didn't know it even existed. And I'm like, fuck. I've been studying about arrays, linked lists, trees, and now you give me questions about iterations. What? And I almost lost it. I was like nervous then, and I started shaking, and I'm like, you know, like, damn, I didn't study for this. I didn't expect them to give me this question. And it went pretty well though. She explained it really well, and I did it. So, but that's to let you guys know that you guys can't really focus a lot on just strings, linked list, trees, leak code questions. You can't just focus on these kind of questions because you never know what they're gonna give you. Heck, she could have gave me a question that said, how many trees are in New York City? Give me a function. Like, you know, they give you questions like, how does this object work, more than give me a function for, you know, do this, do that. So make sure you guys are focusing a lot on problem solving itself, not just solving problems. My second interview was for another startup. Well, they're not really a startup now, but they said that they're in a, like, you know, startup kind of vibe. This was by far the weirdest interview ever. Like, it wasn't even professional, to be honest. It was a video call through Zoom. For those of you who don't know Zoom, don't do Zoom. Do Google Hangouts. Do whatever it is. Don't do Zoom. Zoom is trash. But as we go into the interview, we're talking, and he's asking me weird questions. What is the roots of a tree for? Why is the color of the leaf green? What is the scientific or chemical compound that produces food for the trees? What's your favorite tree? How do telephones work? That's true. Mind you, this company is a real estate company that has a software that collects data for clients who own a property. So why are you talking to me about trees? Talk to me about binary trees, binary search trees, you know, balance trees. Talk to me about those trees. Why are you talking to me about photosynthesis? What? So it threw me off guard. I didn't really believe there was no, like, what if I said no? What if I said no, I don't know what photosynthesis is? Or no, I don't know what the roots of a trees are for? Or no, I don't have a favorite tree? Like, what if I said no to those questions? Like, you know, that'll make me feel kind of nervous. Luckily, I knew the answers to these questions, but why? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of weird. Another weird thing that happened too is that it's a little bit unprofessional to kind of look around what's around me and kind of, like, you know, say weird things. So my fiance was in the back and she was in the kitchen and she was cooking something for us, right? And then he goes, "Oh, is she cooking?" Like, what? I'm here, buddy. We here. We talking about me. We're talking about trees, right? We're talking about trees out in the real world. We're here. But then he goes about, you know, talking about my fiance in the back cooking? Is she cooking? What is she cooking? Woo! That was like, it threw me off even more. 2 lessons I learned, and 2 lessons that I want you guys to take away from this is, make sure you're not studying just linked lists, arrays, trees, things of that nature. Just being able to problem solve. That's where you want to focus on. So when you're doing LeetCode, I'm not saying don't do LeetCode. I'm not saying don't do Maya's 30-day code challenge for cracking the code. What I'm saying is, pay attention to problem solving, not just solving the problem. Another question that they asked me was a designing question. So being able to design a application for a user. So they give you kind of these limitations and these restrictions, or they kind of give you the storyboard of what they're trying to build, and you kind of draw it out and say, this is what we do, or this is how it should be done. The applications database would have so and so, the application would interact with the user so and so. And design questions, what they look for is for you to be able to design an application tailored to the user. You should take away from this video is breaking down the problem and learning how to problem solve, not just solving problems. It's Sturdy Code, and I'm out here.